What's up, guys? We are back. Beat the Line broadcast, episode 38, UFC Vegas 94. I'm your host, Picks by Pegasus. Obviously here with Key 3 Picks and Dravey, as we are every week. Pretty good card last weekend we had, huh? It was actually relatively eventful. I know we all talked about. We can't say we all. Me and Drav talked about Juicy J by sub. Someone else said he was going to get clipped, but I didn't see a clipping happen at all.
I mean, Kid even did a full video of him getting dropped. He got dropped a lot.
Hey man, I guess C-Rod is on the terrorist list now. So no C-Rod.
I can't believe that, man. I can't believe it. I figured it would be a late sub. I didn't think it'd be a round one sub.
He rocked him a couple times. I wonder how, what was going on with the guillotine, because he tapped so fast. It
was like a neck crank too. He had like his neck in a weird position.
But he has very long arms, bro. I mean, he had Charles Jourdain in it, and Jourdain BJJ is very good. And even Ramos, he tapped him out in like 5
Ramos
seconds.
is a top tier jiu-jitsu guy, so
yeah, he's a quitter. Don't get me wrong.
He is a quitter.
The thing with C-Rod though, I mean, he went to dark, deep hell with Isaac and Rosas, and to see him tap that quick, it must have been absolutely nasty.
Yeah, but it's not the same type of chokes though, because Bulgarian and Rosas were trying to go with the rear naked.
No, I'm just talking about how tough C-Rod is in general.
Oh yeah, he's very tough. I was surprised to see the tap like that, but I mean, I think Juicy J front chokes are nasty. What we know now. So.
There's also only 3 seconds left in the round. Like he's gonna be pretty.
No, it was 10. I think it was 10 seconds.
10 seconds. I thought it was
something like that.
Yeah, and how about Rose Namajunas minus 200? That line was good till minus, I don't know, 3,500 probably.
Me and he got minus 140.
I got 160. I got minus 160.
Minus 145, and
that was crazy.
We should have max bet. We should have max bet it.
She dropped her in the first round. I was kind of surprised because Cortez is pretty tough, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Cortez cardio looked way better than I expected.
Oh yeah, man.
She was taking over towards the end of the fight. Like it was looking like
I was getting scared a little bit at the end. It was like, yo, what's going on now?
Yeah, I mean,
she won the last round. I was surprised.
Yeah, we won 1 through. Once we won 1 through 3, I was like, okay, I'm pretty happy with where we are.
Yeah, we're chilling.
Yeah. So, and then obviously Petrosky, the best. The GOAT.
Oh yeah, good job on that pick. That was a good.
I'm shocked, dude. I'm very surprised his gas. I mean, his gas did not look great in the third round, but like at elevation, it looked better than he normally does. Usually he quits.
Yeah, but I mean, bro, he didn't really have to work. I mean, he was just on top chilling. You know, he didn't do much. Yeah. So it's easier to survive and not gas out when you're just on top and you're just controlling position. And Fran didn't get up. I was kind of surprised. It's weird because against Fluffy, he was getting up. You know, he was doing good work, but. I think it was maybe one of these fights where he has a better performance than he normally should have, you know, against Fluffy, because he looked bad in the wrestling against Jamie Pickett, you know. So that's why I didn't want to bet Fran, but I was like, Petrosky's going to have a cardio dump because Fran's going to make him work, but he didn't. So, good bet on that. He really dominated. He looked like minus 500 or so.
All right, let's get into this card. I don't think it's that good of a card, to be honest. I think it's kind of lackluster. I won't have many bets here. They're starting us off with a heavyweight slop fest to begin the night. It's Mohammad Usman versus Thomas Peterson. Mohammad Usman, 35'6'2" with a 79-inch reach. Thomas Peterson is 29'6'1" with a 74-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen, you get Usman anywhere from minus 140 to minus 128. You get Thomas Peterson anywhere from plus 122 to plus 110. Drav, I'm going to have you go first. I mean, as long as Usman stops the takedowns, which I think he probably should look like a pretty sizable favorite against Peterson here. And this is coming from a guy who hates Usman and finally got right with my Mick Parkin bet against him. But, I mean, it's probably Usman's fight to lose if he can keep it standing, no?
No, I don't think so. To be honest, he never separate on the feet. You know, he has some power, but he's so low volume. He hit kind of hard, but like he's chinny. He doesn't take damage well. Like when he gets hit hard, he doesn't react well. It's not good for the judges. And I was not surprised, I'd say, but Peterson didn't quit in his debut against Pogues. And I think against Pogue, it was potentially a tougher fight than this one. I don't think Usman is great anywhere. Like, yes, decent wrestling. He hit decently hard, but he's not a good striker. He doesn't separate. He's always in close fight. I bet on him against Tafa in his debut. I got plus money, and then I fade him with Parkin. That was very close though. But yeah, overall, I'm not high on his ceiling. I think Peterson's ceiling is higher. Like, he's a way better finisher than Usman, and if he gets on top, they can be very dangerous because I don't know if you guys remember, but I did talk about it last pod when Usman fought Brandon Sales on PFL, right? Like when he got dominated on the ground and he had no answer for the grappling. It was like 3 years ago, but I think his ground game is bad. Like on bottom, I think he's pretty bad, and he's not a good finisher on top. So a guy like Peterson is going to try to work and potentially get on top. And I think if he gets on top, he could potentially finish him. But yeah, overall, it's probably gonna go the distance. It's probably gonna be very close. And my pick's gonna be Usman to edge a very close decision. But betting wise, I think it's dog or pass personally.
Yeah, it's amazing you see an over 2.5 in a heavyweight fight being minus 210, minus 220. I think Peterson probably had success in the clinch too. His clinch work's usually decent, and obviously he's a pretty good wrestler. So I think you're right. I think the takedowns will make the difference, but I kind of think you got to bet Usman here just because of like what we saw with the Pogues fight. I don't know. I'm personally, I don't have a bet for this fight. I'd play Usman if I did, but I'm not betting this fight.
Yeah, I think Pogues will be like minus 150, minus 175 against Usman, to be honest.
I was just thinking about asking you, how would you line Pogues versus Usman? I said Pogues, I'd probably give him minus 170 easily, I think. Key, what do you think here? Anything for the slop fest?
Yeah, I would never put hard-earned money on Mohammad Usman at favorite price tag. I think that Peterson's the side here. I don't have a bet on this fight. I had Mick Parkin at like minus 166 or so last time out. And that fight was Usman just finds a way to make fights weirdly close. It's not like he's going to separate himself. In the Paunga fight, he was getting pieced up until he somehow found some KO power. But historically, it's not like Usman is just knocking out UFC level guys. I mean, if anybody remembers the Tough season, he was fighting and going life and death with guys who will never touch the UFC even close again. So I don't rate Usman high at all. I don't rate Peterson that high. If Peterson does end up on top, there is scenarios where Peterson looks like a wide favorite. So for that reason, if you can find a clear scenario to where a dog can look like a serious wide favorite, I think that you have to at least give it a look. So if you are into betting overweight men and underwear fighting, I think that you got to go Peterson at plus 120. That's the only way to play it, in my opinion.
Okay, next fight, girls fight, Luana Carolina versus Lucie Pudilová. Luana Carolina is 31, 5'6", the 69-inch reach. Lucie Pudilová is 30 years old, 5'8", with a 6'7.5" reach. The line on these two women right now, it's basically a pick 'em across the board. You can find Luana Carolina at minus 103 on some books, but other than that, it's pretty much a pick 'em across the board. Okay, our WMMA expert, should this fight be lined at a pick 'em?
Yeah. Before we start, make sure y'all like and subscribe, comment on this video. But on to the actual breakdown, I think that this is a weird fight to cap. I went into tape wanting a Carolina bet. At the time, it was like about plus 110. I was wanting a Carolina bet. But she just, the amount of low IQ dumb shit she does is just insane. I mean, she gets away with it sometimes. And as of recent, Petrovic is absolute garbage to me. Stoli, we know the Stoli story. I mean, we know what we're going to get every time out of her. This is her first fight at bantamweight. Pudilová isn't some huge bantamweight, but that is something to note whenever I think that Pudilová also is the better grappler here. We'll see where this line goes. I may actually end up on a Pudilová bet. I'm trying to stay away from this card in general, but Pudilová might suck me in here. And so I think that Pudilová is a side. Carolina, just so much low IQ stuff. Pudilová, in some of the octagon fights while she was out of the UFC, she showed some really good movement, like walking girls down, teeps, straight shots. And straight shots are going to get there first. And so I think that the straight shots could prevail here. I'm not saying that Pudilová is just going to walk her down, look like a K1 kickboxer or anything, but I think that Pudilová has the grappling upside. It's going to be relatively close on the feet because it's not like Carolina truly separates against damn near anybody against on the feet. So it's going to be a close fight on the feet, and you give the grappling upside to Pudilová. I can't get behind a Carolina bet as much as I wanted to. So we'll see how this line drops. If it drops into dog money for real with Pudilová, I might be on Pudilová here. But as of right now, minus 117 and minus 103 on passing. But we'll see where this Pudilová line goes.
Nice. All right, I agree with you there. I was honestly trying to find a Luana Carolina bet as well. I wanted to bet her last fight. I think it was plus 3.5 against Stoliarenko. I ended up not taking it. Looked pretty good, if I'm remembering correctly. If I'm thinking about the right girl, what do I know? Droff, what are you thinking here? I think it's Carolina or pass, but I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah, I mean, if you catch Carolina early when she was like plus 120 like 2 days ago, I think it was a good bet. Now it's a pick 'em, and I think it's kind of justified. I think it should be close to 50-50. I don't have a strong read on it, to be honest. Feel like Carolina is the slightly better striker. Like you said, she's moving up a weight class here. And I think she make a lot of mistakes in the grappling. She's low IQ sometimes. But to her credit, she's kind of improving fight to fight, and she has a good. I think she's 5-3 in the UFC. She's 6-2 to the decision. 2 of her decision losses are a split decision. And I mean, Pudilová, I think she's improved since like her back days in the UFC. But let's not forget, she's 3-7 in the UFC, and she's 9-8 to the decision, and 4 of her win in decision or split decision. So I just feel like overall it's going to be probably a split decision, can go either way, and the market's saying it's 50-50. So it's a stay away fight for me, but I think Carolina win it.
Yeah. Next fight here, Loik Radzhabov versus Trey Ogden. That was a good one. Loik is the Tajik tank, is 33, 5'11 with a 69-inch reach. Trey Ogden is 34, 5'11 with a 72-inch reach. He's the head coach of Marathon MMA, if you guys don't know. Odds in this fight, straight pick 'em. They've been getting a lot of line movement coming in on Ogden. Ogden, I believe, opened plus 150. Now he's the favorite. I think he was at minus 120 earlier. He had a quick buyback to minus 110. So you got to pick him right now. Drop. What do you think? I mean, my view on this fight is, I was trying to get on a Trey Ogden spot at plus odds. I kind of told you guys that this morning. Obviously, the line moved further, so I'm just going to stay away from it. But I think Trey's aside here, bro. Loik has heavy hands. He's got good wrestling. His gas tank is suspect, in my opinion. And Trey Ogden's an actual true mixed martial artist. He's got decent striking. He's got great fight IQ. He's got good cardio. He's got good submissions. He's got good takedowns himself and good takedown defense. I think, Loik would probably win around 1, but Trey Ogden would take over later on and win a decision. What do you think?
It's a tricky fight to me, bro, to be honest. I had a bet on Trey Ogden at plus 150, and I decided to edge it. Like, when they opened the first line was plus 150. Feel like it was a no-brainer pre-tape, so I bet it on track it. And then after tapes, I was like, I don't really want a part of this fight, to be honest. On the money line side, at least, feel like there's a better way to play it than money line. You can get a little bit tricky with some props. So, the way I see it is I think Loik pressure and power is going to it's just going to cause a lot of problems to Ogden early. Ogden's style on the feet is like he's using a lot of footwork, using leg kicks. He's out-volume people, but he's not really – Loik is not going to have to worry about the power standing. Let's just put it that way. He's going to be able to bully him. And then it's like I was looking into the grappling aspect, and Loik, when he's fresh, he has good takedown defense. So I think it's going to be hard for Ogden to have wrestling success early. So with that being said, I feel pretty confident to say Loik is going to win round 1. I think he's going to be landing the bigger shot. And let's say it goes all 15 minutes, right? You're going to have a guy in Loik who's going to be walking forward for at least 10 minutes. He's going to be landing more the bigger shot, and he's going to do more damage. And then as the fight goes on, I feel like maybe we're going to see a switch turnaround. We're gonna see a switch of momentum at the end of round 2, beginning of round 3. Ogden has better cardio, obviously. Loik's a guy that gets tired as the fight goes on, but he really pushed through it. Like, he's not gonna quit on himself. But I think he's bad off his back, to be honest. I feel like when he's tired, if Ogden gets on top, I feel like he's live to submit him. So yeah, to me, it's like, I think Ogden win round 3. I think Loik win round 1. And then if it goes off 15, kind of depend on round 2. So with that being said, if you got Trey at plus 150, like I did, or something around that, I think it's a bet. But the reason I decided to edge is I think he's going to have to come from behind. And I think he's going to be, even if it goes off 15 and it looked like he won, he's going to be the one getting pressure and getting Loik's going to be landing big on him. And I also think Loik is live to knock him out. So I think Ogden's pretty smart. He's a coach, like you said, and he has very good game plan now. And if he's smart, he's going to try to go for a lot of leg kicks early, because Loik has problem with that a lot. It's not only the Rebeski fight, even on the regional in PFL, he had a lot of troubles against guys that going leg kicks heavy against him. He just doesn't have an answer for it. So if he try to take down Ogden, he's not going to hold him down. And if Ogden is smart, which I think he is, he's going to invest to the legs early. And I think he could potentially finish late. So I'm really torn on it. I think Loik win a close decision, but I think he could knock him out. I think Ogden could submit him. And I think Loik has finishing upside early. I think Ogden has finishing upside late. So now it's a pick 'em. I think it's probably justified. I think Loik minus 125, 55% makes sense. So probably a little bit of value if you can get Loik at plus money, but it's not a fight I really want to bet. But I do have a read on it. I'm just not too confident about what's going to happen, So all the big plus money you can get: Loik KO1, Ogden sub 3, Ogden sub. There's a lot of ways to play it rather than just picking your money line here.
Yeah, I agree. And, it's funny because the narrative you're seeing online on Twitter is a lot of people are saying, like, Loik is live for a KO. He's got heavy hands, stuff like that. But Ogden, if I'm not incorrect, I don't think Ogden's ever been knocked out, right? I don't think we've seen him hurt.
But yeah, he got hurt. He got hurt on the regional. Yeah, he got clubbed in the sub, I think, one time. He got hurt on the field on the regional, but he's kind of hard to. I mean, he's just hard to find, and he's hard to fight. He's kind of a frustrating fighter. So, but Loik's gonna just walk forward, and you have to remember it's also in the small cage. So I think Loik's gonna be able to find him and land big shot. But it's, to me, like I said, it's tricky. But I think Ogden should go to the legs early, and he's probably gonna do it.
Key, what do you think here? Anything different?
Nah, nothing different here. This is a complete pass fight for me. I do appreciate guys who study the game and actually build good game plans, though. So I hope that Ogden can get it done. Yeah,
he's good with it. And also, shout out to Loik last time out. His KO prop was plus 450 against this overfight. Yeah, money line he was, I think, plus odds, and I got the KO plus 450. Now they're saying the KO is the same price against Ogden, which I think is kind of stupid. But
I agree. Especially, I would play it like you played earlier too. Play round 1, round 2. I wonder what odds they're going to give that at. Next fight: Miranda Maverick versus Dione Barbosa. Miranda Maverick, 27, 5'3", with a 65.5-inch reach. Dione Barbosa, 32, 5'6", 66.5-inch reach. Right now, the odds on these two women: Miranda Maverick is minus 210 to minus 200. Barbosa is anywhere from plus 190 to plus 175. The drill. Key, what do you got for us on this women's bout?
Yeah, I bet my girl Ernesta last time out against Dione. And I do bet that every day of the week at those odds at plus 160 or so. Dione was fading as we knew she would. I think that Dione is a classic case of a good front runner. It's kind of rare in women's MMA because there aren't that many girls that are athletic and physically built the way that she is. But I think that she's a front runner. We know that she has a little bit of quitter in her. But I don't rate Miranda Maverick that highly. So if there is a way to play this fight, I think that it's either Maverick late round props. Just hoping that Barbosa can maybe death gas. She's taking this fight on short notice, I believe, like 3 to 4 week short notice. We know that Miranda's training at elevation. So the cardio is not just the edge. I mean, it's a very big time cardio differential here. I think that Maverick wins round 3 at a very, very high clip. I think that Barbosa wins round 1 at a decent clip. And round 2 is sort of a coin flip depending on the success or the amount that Maverick makes her work. Dione's jab is strong. I mean, she's physically up top built like a brick. I mean, it's insane. And she's obviously strong as shit. The Jenna Bishop loss is a good loss in my opinion. But I think that she'll accept bottom a little too much. And I don't think that any scrambling here will benefit her gas tank. So it's hard for me to get to a Barbosa bet for those reasons. But at this wide of price tag, I mean, whenever you're talking plus 180 to plus 200 range, you can't ask for a perfect dog. So I expect her to have early success. But if she doesn't have early success, Maverick will look like a wide favorite. So Barbosa doesn't have a ton of finishing upside, in my opinion, here. So that's the reason why it's hard for me to get down. But yeah, this is a pass fight for me.
I was going to ask, what did you think of 2 things? What do you think of her jiu-jitsu? That's my first thought, because I think obviously Miranda Maverick tries to, smush people hot, and she'll happily jump into Barbosa's guard. That's my first thought. And then it's kind of crazy that this girl Barbosa beat our queen, Karine Silva. Isn't that crazy on the regional scene?
It's not that crazy because I think the Karine is a fucking fraud. But and I'll say that to the day I die.
But she's your queen though.
But nah, I think that I think that her BJJ off her back, I'm not worried about. I don't see Maverick getting subbed by many girls while she's on top. Now, if Barbosa finds a way to the back, we're talking a different game. Body lock situation, that's a different game. But off her back, I don't think that she's going to cause too much of a threat to Maverick. I know Maverick's been going around as a bunch of BJJ tournaments and has been grappling during this time off. So I don't expect any problems if Maverick does end up on top. But I think that Barbosa could be the one that lands on top with a few of her judo trips and stuff. So yeah.
That's kind of my thought. My thought process here is pretty much the same as yours. Like, it's pretty straightforward and easy to say, Miranda Maverick getting the fight after a full camp and at elevation, minus 200. I think that's pretty fair. But I think I'm willing to take the dog shot here on Dione Barbosa, honestly. I think that's the side. If we're going to bet it, plus 190 on – what book is this? Caesars. I don't hate that, plus 190, maybe plus 180, but I wouldn't go any lower than that. Job, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with the breakdown he just gave about the round 1-3 aspect. I think Barbosa win round 1. The only thing I'll disagree is I think she wins round 1 at a high clip, and I think she loses round 3 at a high clip. Like he said, the only worry we have is I think she's kind of like she could get finished in round 3. So I think Maverick round 3 could be a decent look. But yeah, again, Maverick is not an elite finisher anyways. And she's not good when people try to take her down, Like, she struggled. I don't think her takedown defense is good. Barbosa is pretty strong, and I think her wrestling grappling is pretty decent. She's a BJJ black belt, Peg, to your point. So I think her grappling is pretty good, to be honest. And so, yeah, the way I see it is I think early, like on the feet, I think Barbosa's striking is pretty underrated, to be honest. Peg, you have some echo right now. I don't know what it is.
Is that me? Yeah, let me see if I can do that. Is that better?
Yeah, I think you're good now. Right. So I think her striking is underrated. She has some power on the feet, and she's also pretty fast. Like she's gonna look. I think she's gonna look like a big favorite in round 1. Like she's gonna probably piece up Maverick a little bit. Maverick striking has been improving, but I don't think it's that good. And if she's not the one trying to wrestle, like Andrea Lee was winning the grappling exchanges at the first round and early round 2. So. She won that fight because of her striking. The little tricky part here, I think Barbosa is the slightly better striker. She has more pop in her shots, and I think she's faster. And in the grappling, I think it's pretty close. But if Barbosa decides to wrestle first, she could get on top early and potentially find a finish. I don't think she will finish Maverick. I think it's going to go the distance. But like I said, I think it's all gonna depend on round 2, and at these odds like plus 180, plus 190. If you tell me it's round 1 she wins it and then she loses round 3, you could also live bet Maverick after a round if you want. Based on my read, I think she lose the first round. And also, I was talking about this a little bit earlier. Maverick is good, but let's not forget she's 5-5 to the decision. Like, I know she lost against good competition. She fought the way better girl. She's been in the UFC for a long time, so obviously that's good for her. But again, I think Barbosa is going to win round 1, and round 2 is very close for me to call, and I think she'll lose round 3 and survive. So, yeah, I think she wins a close decision. And also, bro, the UFC debut, we know sometimes they shit the bed, a lot of stress. And we see a lot of fighters having a way better performance after their UFC debut. So maybe we see that here. But yeah. A decent fight.
I agree. I think Barbosa's a side. I might end up betting her at some point. I'm just going to wait and see. I also have to get a Caesars account started because I don't even have that book yet. Next fight is Brian Kelleher versus Cody Gibson. Brian Kelleher, 37-5'6" with a 64-inch reach. Cody Gibson, 36-5'10" with a 71-inch reach. Line on these two gentlemen, Brian Kelleher plus 165 to plus 180. Cody Gibson minus 190 to minus 225. I'll go first with this one. It's crazy I'm saying this. I was on Cody Garbrandt by finish last time out. And now I find myself on, I think I like Brian Kelleher here. Cody Gibson, his last fight against Miles John on the feet, his striking did not impress me at all. It wasn't even relatively impressive. He got a contract in the UFC after being cut from the UFC because he went to war with Brad Katona, who I think I kind of won that fight handedly. I was kind of like shocked that it was like a big thing. Other than that, like he was beat by Ray Borg. He can use his jab at times and his reach. He's going to have a big height and reach advantage here, but he doesn't always use it. He gets sucked into these brawls. I mean, we've seen Brian Kelleher. This is a huge step down in competition for him. I mean, you go back and you look who he's fought. Cody Garbrandt, former champion. Mario Batista, up-and-coming prospect, pretty good. Umar Nurmagomedov, pretty good prospect. Kevin Kroom, not the best win. Ricky Simone, another good win that's kind of fading now. Cody Stamen, Hunter Azure, that was a great fight, by the way. Montel Jackson beat Odie Osborne by sub. Like, he's fought good fighters and won good fights. So, like, I don't understand why he's got these plus odds. Yeah, sure, he's 37, but so is Cody Gibson. So, like, I don't really get the line here. I mean, you go look at Cody Gibson. Cody Gibson's 1-5 in the UFC. You look at Brian Kelleher. Kelleher is 8-8 in the UFC, but he's fought way better competition. Sure, he's coming off of that neck surgery, but I don't know, man. Something tells me I think Kelleher is probably the side here. I think Kelleher wins this fight at a pretty high clip. I don't know. I think I'll probably bet him and take the dog shot here. What do you think, Jav?
I'll say enjoy the experience, but I'm going to wish you the best of luck. But there's no way I'm going to have money on this fight. I think Kelleher is a wash. They're both old, but I think Gibson has more fight in him at this point. Kelleher, coming back after a lot of injuries, he looks shot against Garbrandt, to be honest. With the thing of the back of his head, I don't know as that. It's just the same thing as Char Johnson. How we call that?
The skullet.
Yeah, that was terrible. I don't know. If he has that at the weigh-in, like, put your bang on Cody Gibson. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I think Gibson wins, but there's no way I can lay the chalk on him either. I understand that if Kelleher is not washed and he's coming in ready to fight, he can make the fight close and he's probably the side, but there's no way I can bet him. And there's also no way I can get to minus 2xx on Cody Gibson. So it's a complete pass for me. I think I'm going to be boring, but I think Gibson wins a decision. But yeah, decision or not, there's another thing. I was looking into the over 1.5 with a potential parlay piece. But again, if Kelleher is shot like I think he is, he might get finished early. So yeah, man. I
don't think Cody's got the same power that Cody. Well, Cody. No. I don't think Cody Gibson carries the same power as Cody Garbrandt.
No, for sure, he doesn't have much power. But I'm just saying, if the guy is shot and old, he doesn't need to hit that hard. If he has injuries again, like if I remember correctly, after his last fight, before the Cody Garbrandt fight, they told him to not fight again, and he decided to keep fighting. He's training like in his garage or something. Like, bro, I don't know, man. If you want to get it, Peg, I understand the bet, but I'm gonna wish you the best of luck.
Might have to dare to be great here. Key, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll keep it quick. This is a Cody Gibson spot in my opinion. But at these odds, I can't fully back that. Cody Gibson staring Miles Johns in the eye while Miles Johns has a fucking heart attack in round 3 was hilarious last fight. But yeah, I think that Cody has the better process. I think that he's the better fighter. I think that he has him covered everywhere outside of Cody randomly having a bad chin, which that's never really been a thing. No. Cody having a bad chin, I don't really see how Kelleher gets this done here. I think that Cody, there's a loser goes home sort of situation here. So I think that Cody gets the job done and lives to fight another day in the UFC.
Yeah, Cody has been subbed 4 times. Keep that in mind. Next fight. Guys, drop a like and subscribe. We're helping you guys out. Most profitable MMA podcast on the market right now. It's not negotiable at this rate. Hyder Amil versus Jung Lee. Hyder Amil, 34'5'9" with a 70-inch reach. Jung Lee, 28'5'10" with a 73-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen right now. Hyder Amil is anywhere from plus 163 to plus 180. Jung Lee is minus 185 to minus 210. I'm going to have you go first here. What do you think of this fight? And then we'll have Drop finish it off.
Yeah, so I actually caught some good money with some Hyder Amil props last time out, some overstrikes. Books didn't seem to understand that this guy is absolute chaos in the octagon.
I like dog prices, right? He's the type of fighter you want to bet at dog. He's the type of fighter you want to bet at dog odds, right?
Yeah, I sort of regret. I stared in the eye. I think like plus 2 something.
He opened plus 285.
Yeah, I kind of wish I would have gone down on that. If not just for hedge purposes, but I think that this is a fight where eventually Amil has to die. I mean, 34 years old. He's not this young prospect. It'd be different if this was a Josh Van type of vibe where he's coming in super young and he's just chaotic. And the guy's 34. Eventually, he's going to get flatlined. I mean, it's inevitable.
He eats him off the face, too. He eats him off the face.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that he's taking shots, he's going to get flatlined eventually. I don't know if this is a spot, but I do know that that is the only way that Jung Lee is going to justify this price tag. Because Amil will break you. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Jung, he seems to understand that his cardio isn't insane. And he picks his spots pretty well. I was impressed with some of his body work in boxing range. I really like the way that he was ripping to the body. And I think that he fights well in spurts. I know that he's at Fight Ready right now for this camp. I know this is the first camp there. I'm not sure what that's going to look like, but I do know, like I said earlier, the only way that he's justifying this price tag is by finish. I'm targeting those props. But Amil wins round 3 at a high clip against damn near anybody if you let him.
I agree.
Long enough. So
Lee can risk and mix in some wrestling too. I think here would be probably pretty smart. I know he can get the takedowns. It's just a matter of if he will go for them. But I agree.
Yeah, this will be interesting. I think that Amil's day is coming. Is just about is this the spot or not?
I think Dravi likes this fight a lot. Drav, what do you think about this fight, Lee versus Amil?
Yeah, I'm not going to be boring on this one because I disagree with your take, guys. More in the sense that you're missing a very important point. Amil's dog, yeah, but he's a very bad grappler. And Lee's a BJJ black belt. He's a pretty slick grappler. You probably didn't watch all of his regional fights, but yeah, he's finishing guy late, and he's coming. Let's say he has good volume, good pressure, but Amil doesn't have the best cardio either. Like when the fight go the distance, he's in some close ass fight, Like yeah, he's pressuring people and all that. But first of all, he's a punching bag. Like he block punches with his face, and he does slow down himself. He's always the guy walking forward. But the Garcia fight, yeah, he looked good, but he got clipped in that fight. He got hurt a little bit one time, and Garcia took this fight on short notice up a weight class. Let's not forget that. But yeah, man, Amil's a bad grappler. To your point, he's going to get exposed to him, but I'm not so sure it's going to be by KO. I think he's going to get submitted. And for the league to cover this price tag, if he grapple, I think it's going to look like a big favorite. Like, this guy grappling is pretty underrated. He's a black belt. You know what he's doing on the ground. And Amil, bro, just watch the Dana White Contender Series fight, bro. He was getting reversed left and right. He's doing a lot of mistakes in the grappling. He's rushing position. He's very bad shit, Against a good grappler, he's going to get exposed very soon. Even against Garcia, he was doing some weird-ass shit. If he goes for takedown here, which maybe he will because he does wrestle in some of his fights, he's going to end up in some bad position. And on the feet, Lee can crack. He has big power. And like I said, Amil's a punching bag. And also, like you said, I think Lee body work is nasty. The way he beat Bilder Haas was a very impressive performance to me. But to your point also, he does slow down himself sometimes. He can get control against the fence. And I'm not saying he's the best to ever do it. I'm just saying I think he has the higher ceiling. I think he's more complete as an MMA fighter, let's say. I think Amil's a dog. He's gonna come after him, but Lee's pretty slick with the counter. He's pretty good when he goes to the body. I love when I see a fighter like when he hurt Bilder, the first thing he goes to the body right after. So that was, to me, that was perfect. And Bilder's a black belt. He's a pretty good grappler of his own. Lee beat his ass in the grappling,
Oh, yeah.
What do you think Bilder will do to Amil on the ground? He will beat his ass. Let's be honest here. Maybe Amil just knock him out, but on the ground, it's not a close fight. And Lee washed Bilder on the feet and on the ground, So, yeah, man, I think here for Amil, I think it's a step up in competition in the right weight class. And I think he can get club and sub. I think he can get knocked out. I think he can get submitted. But if the fight go all 15, it's probably going to be a dog fight, a banger, and you want to be on the dog side. So I'm not saying to lay minus 185 only, but I think you can play the inside the distance. I like
the ITD.
I think plus 150. You can also play Lee by submission, and you can play the under 2.5 if you want to pick him. All these bets are good. If you want to play Amil, I don't mind it. He's probably going to look like value until it gets submitted. That's how I see the fight playing out, at least.
And we're going to get pretty good odds on Lee by sub. I think they dropped it at plus 600 on Bet Online.
It was plus 650.
Yeah, we might get plus 700 on FanDuel or more. And if that's the case, I'll probably take a sprinkle on that and take the ITD.
You see that, Key? You just said you like Amil and you want to bet him.
No. I did not say I liked Amil. I said Lee will win it. He's a guy you want to
breakdown. You want to bet Amil. You were so enthusiastic about it. Now you want to bet him to get finished.
Like I said earlier, this isn't the time to bet him. This isn't the time to bet him. You bet him at dog odds, but this ain't the one.
Yeah, right.
I agree. But okay, let's move on to our next one. Next one's going to be a good one. Next one's opening our main event. Okay. So they move the. All right. So it's Doo Ho Choi versus Bill Algeo. Doo Ho Choi, who, by the way, he fought his last fight. Well, I think it was against Kyle Nelson, right? Was that the last one? No.
Yes.
It was. And he got robbed. That was a robbery. I had a Doo Ho Choi bet. I think I put 2 units on that one at that time. I thought that was.
You think it was a robbery? Also.
Maybe not like a crazy robbery, but I thought Doo Ho Choi won that fight, to be honest.
He got a point taking away. That's why he lost. That's why it was a draw.
I don't know. I think Doo Ho Choi, even with the point loss, could have won that fight. But odds on these two guys, before we break it down, is Bill Algeo minus 170 and Doo Ho Choi plus 145. I'm thinking I like dog shot here, honestly. I like Doo Ho Choi here. I think Doo Ho Choi has a chance to actually KO Bill Algeo. That's the way I'm going to play it. And that's how I like him winning this fight. You want to give your breakdown for this one now?
Me?
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, I don't have a passionate read on this one. So if you want to take the dog shot, I'll let you do it. But do you want to know how many years ago that Doo Ho Choi got his last win Don't look. Try to guess.
It was a while ago. He had to take time away to do the Army, right? Didn't he have to go do the Army service?
Yes,
thing?
but I want you to guess how many years ago was his last win?
So that was 2 years ago, at least. So, and then that Nelson fight was a year ago. I'm gonna guess 4 years.
4 years. What about you, Chi? How many years?
I know it's 2016 already.
Ah, fuck off, Chi. Yeah. So his last win was 8 years ago. It's pretty crazy, right?
Did you guys watch the Cub Swanson Duho Choi Cub Swanson fight? That's like one of my, I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite fights. That's a good one to go back and watch.
That's a banger. The thing I'll say for this fight is I think Duho Choi is going to look a little bit better than he did in his last fight. In his last fight, he did come back against a big ass layoff. He probably had, the UFC shitter, like we said, like he was kind of gun shy a little bit. He got rocked against Nelson, but then he beat up his leg pretty bad, and I think that's something he can do here against Algeo. But Bill's a guy that can, he can style him. The only thing I think it's kind of funny, if you recap the fight, Duho Choi has been KO'd 2 times in round 2, and I think Bill Algeo is a round 2 finish guy. Like he has 5 subs in round 2 and 3 KOs in round 2. That's just interesting to me. I think if Algeo were to finish the fight, it's probably going to be round 2, 3. So maybe that's that. But if they go to distance, it's going to be your type of volume versus power type fight. I think Choi is going to crack him bad in some spot. But Algeo, I know he got cracked against Nelson, but he didn't get dropped. But that was still a bad look. He got rocked. He got hurt badly, like 3 times.
Do you think it was an early stoppage? Do you think it was an early stoppage?
Yeah. I think yes, it was an early stoppage, but bro, he got rocked like 3 times. He was on shaky legs for like 30 seconds. Yeah. It was early, don't get me wrong, but yeah, that was, I don't know, man. You have a guy, like they both fought Kyle Nelson their last fight. One of them kind of beat his ass a little bit, and the other one got finished in the first round. But yeah, I think if they run back Algeo versus Nelson, Algeo is probably winning the fight more often than not, to be honest. And he's normally pretty durable. And if anyone has grappling success here, it's going to be him. But the guy is so hittable, and Duho Choi crack like crazy, and he's pretty fast. Like, I think early he's going to crack Bill at some point. And yeah, it's going to be a close fight to him. Yeah, I can't lay the chalk on Algeo here just because of how hittable he is and how hard Duho Choi hit. But again, I can't really bet a guy in Choi who's not active, he's 33 at this point. I know Algeo's 35, but he's active, Like Algeo, since 2 years, he has 5 fights. Less than 2 years ago, he has 5 fights. And you have a guy in Choi that only has 1. And some bad fight IQ, bro. Like, why the fuck would you do this to Kyle Nelson on the ground? I don't know what he was thinking, but yeah. So again, to me, it's a pass. But I think Algeo win, but I don't like the price. I say that.
I'm loving the dogs this card. Key, what do you got for this one?
Yeah, I think Choi has to find the KO relatively early. We've seen over time, whenever Algeo gets in a flow state, he cruises on. I mean, the guy's slick, he's smooth, but he's playing with fire with the hands down, and it's not like his chin is the best in the world. So he's playing with fire. If Choi comes in and throws hard early, I think that he could find him. Outside of that, I think that Algeo sort of has him covered. I'm not willing to play Bill Algeo at -170, but this is, in my opinion, a pass. So I'll keep it short and sweet. I think it's Choi, round 1 KO, or pass.
The Korean Superboy. One more dance with him. I think I'm going to do it. Next fight, Cody Durden versus Bruno Silva. Cody Durden, 33, 5'7" with a 67-inch reach. Bruno Silva, 34, 5'4" with a 66-inch reach. Line on these two gentlemen, Durden's -118 to -125. Bruno Silva is now flipped to a slight favorite or +105 on some books. I'm a Cody Durden guy. I always play Cody Durden money line. I always play Cody Durden +3.5. I always batter those two, and it has always paid me. I had Cody Durden versus Jake Hadley. I had Cody Durden versus Charles Johnson. I always play Cody Durden. I might have to fade our boy here. I might have to fade my boy here. I like Bruno Silva here. The reason I do, good striking. He's got heavy hands. He's very well rounded. He's at fight ready now. His main sparring partner, I believe, is Henry Cejudo. So I think his grappling only gets better. Obviously, we know Cody Durden kind of relies on a heavy, relentless, shoot 25 takedowns and get them. But I think if Bruno Silva stops some of these takedowns, he might be able to get him. He also, we saw him get subbed by Tagir. Obviously, Tagir is pretty good, especially with his guillotines. But I don't know. I think Bruno Silva's aside here. I think this is a pretty good fight. They're both, 33 and 34. We know Bruno Silva took some time off. And then he came back, fought Tyson Nam. Only person to sub Tyson Nam, fun fact. But I don't know. I think Bruno Silva's aside here. I'd play him at plus odds. Haven't put any money down yet. Just waiting to see what kind of props we get on the commercial books. But, yeah, I think he's aside here. Key, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't really have many thoughts on this fight. In general, I think that this is a correctly lined fight. And I'm the worst Cody Durden better in the world. So I'll pass this a drive. I'm pretty sure he has a serious take on this.
What do you think, Drav? Are you going to ride with Cody Durden after fading him against Jake Hadley and it was you versus I?
Wait a minute. I got him back against Tagir by sub. Did you?
No, I didn't. I can't remember if I had a bet on that fight.
Nah, I got him back with Tagir after. But, bro, you have to admit, Hadley by sub, you had him. You had him. Durden
he almost did, but you can't teach dog, bro. And Cody.
Yeah, but it's all good. I got Hadley back after with my boy Johnson. Charles Johnson's my boy now, against Josh Van, against Hadley, back-to-back dog money.
Yeah, that was a good bet. That was a very good bet. Dude, that KO was fucking crazy. He came out round 3, shot out of a cannon. That was a crazy.
Yeah, that was nasty. But
I never really thought we'd see Josh Van get knocked out like that. I guess it wasn't like a crazy knockout, but I was very surprised. That's what I'm saying. I never thought we'd see that.
He's gonna come back, bro. Don't stress it. He's pretty
22.
good.
He's 22. He's got plenty of time.
Like I said last podcast, I said he's super young and he's gonna come back after that. But when you're young like that, you make a lot of mistakes. And Johnson's just a guy that had a shit ton of experience and he was able to capitalize on some mistakes and he found a good shot. But yeah, the line was disrespectful all week. I got some shit because of this side, but I don't know. I'll minus 2xx on Josh Van. I don't know what people were thinking, but yeah. Anyways,
plus 230 also Johnson. Johnson closed plus 230.
I know, bro. It's crazy, but yeah, that's why we're here. Yeah,
what do you think about this one?
But
what do you think about
this one? In this one, I think it's one of my favorite fight on the card. I think Silva is very good, to be honest. I think he's one of these guys that doesn't fight often, but he's super underrated. And he has Cody covered here. To your point, you asked if you're not sure if he's going to be able to defend the takedowns or not. One of the things I've noticed on tape the most is maybe Cody's going to be able to take him down a little bit, but he's not going to hold him down. Let me tell you that. I'm pretty confident. Silva get-up game is elite, very, very good. If you watch the Tagir fight, he gave a fight to Tagir. The fight was very close. You can even make an argument that he won the fight. I'm not saying he did, but, he destroyed his legs early, and then Tagir couldn't hold him down. He couldn't hold him down, he was able to get some takedowns, but he couldn't do shit to him. Silva is a guy, you take him down, he goes right back up. And against a guy like Durden, who's trying to wrestle a lot, he's good. Don't get me wrong. He's pretty good, but he has shaky cardio. I know he pushed through it, but he does have shaky cardio. And if you have a guy that's just going to keep getting back up after you take him down as the fight goes on, I think you're not going to like it. And on the feet, Durden's bigger, and it's going to probably land a little bit more volume, but Silva can crack, bro. He hit hard, and he's super dangerous. He's small, but he can crack, man. And the leg kicks are nasty. I think on the feet, it's going to be a kind of moment versus minute type fight. I think Durden's going to win minutes, but Silva's going to win moments, landing the bigger shot. And I think he can mess up the legs. Durden did good against Gutierrez defending the leg kicks. I don't think he's going to get as compromised as Tagir did, but yeah, man, you have a guy in Durden that got kind of smoke against the gear. He got dropped, he got sub, and you have a guy in Silva who compete very well against him. Not trying to do MMA match, but sometimes it's important to look at matchup like that. And he beat Tyson Nam ass. Like, he's not a guy that get finished a lot. He dropped him and then he submitted him. Pretty impressive.
First only sub ever to also against.
Yeah, and he Nam has a pretty good chin. The fact that he dropped him like that with a nasty front kick, I think this guy's pretty good. Now I was a little bit worried because he's not active. Cody is way more active, and then I was like, oh, he's kind of old. But then I'm looking at the age; only have like 1 year difference, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think Silva has better cardio. I think he can win by KO. I think he can win by sub. I think he can win by decision. If the fight go all 15, it's probably going to be close. 29-28 type fight, you know. I think Silva can win it. I think he win round 3 at a pretty high clip. I think he's alive to finish late. I think he's alive to finish early. He's a BJJ black belt, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think he's a BJJ black belt. And on the feet, like I said, he hits hard. I think his striking game has been improved. And but yeah, his cardio is shaky after 10 minutes, bro. And if you have a guy like Silva who's not gonna accept bottom position, like Jake Adley or like Charles Johnson didn't really accept bottom, but Mota was Carlos something.
No, it was, I think it was Carlos Mota, but Carlos Mota was also on steroids at that time.
Yeah, he was, but he was accepting bottom position here, and so was Jake Adley. Bruno Silva is not going to do that, you know. So yeah, I think Silva is the side here. I think he finds a finish at some point, to be honest. But yeah, man, I did play him at plus odds. Now it's not plus odds anymore. I got plus 110, but now it's around -1. Yeah, I think you can get -105 on some books. I still like it. I think it should be around
plus 100 on some books too. So I like that.
I think any plus money is good money here. I think it should be around -125, -130. You know, I think it should be around these lines. But yeah, I'm picking him to win. I think he has more finishing upside. I think he has multiple path to victory. And I think Durden path to victory here is a 29-28 decision.
All right, next fight. Kurt Holobaugh versus Kaynan Kruschewsky. Kurt Holobaugh, 37, 5'11" with a 70-inch reach. Kaynan Kruschewsky, 33, 6 foot, 73-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen, you're getting Holobaugh from plus 110 to plus 120. You're getting Kaynan anywhere from -130 to -150. Kurt was the heavy favorite. He was -200, and he moved to plus odds. And I don't fully understand that. I'll just go first on this one. I think, again, another dog spot where I like Kurt here. Kaynan isn't going to take him down like we saw him just get who just mauled Kurt? I can't remember who. Ogden did. And like we saw, like Kurt Holobaugh has great jiu-jitsu on the ground, but for some reason when you wrestle like that and you're not going to really sub Ogden, he was just stuck on the ground. And I don't think you have to worry about that. I don't think this guy Kaynan is even really impressive. I think his strikes are kind of sloppy. I think, I really didn't think his Dana White Contender Series fight was really that impressive, to be completely honest. I don't really understand it. I guess he's got a good submission game, but like I don't see it. He fought Elvis Brenner on his first debut, which is obviously a tough debut, but I don't know. The guy doesn't really impress me. I think this is a Kurt Holobaugh spot here, but you're obviously betting on a 37-year-old guy. I don't think I'm going to definitely bet it, but I think he's a side here. Drav, what do you think?
Yeah, at first, I know Kurt's a popular dog this week. A lot of people are on him. So at first I had some interest, but after looking a little bit more into it, I'm not like, I don't think he wins personally. There's a couple of reasons. I mean, first of all, he's turning 38 soon. His mind and head's kind of out of the game now. He's training his daughter, BJJ, stuff like that. He's not like fully into MMA and trainings and stuff like that. And he looks very bad. I backed him against Ogden. That was a terrible bet. He couldn't get off his back. He didn't even try. It looked like, I don't know, bro. He looked bad. And I think Kaynan, I think his UFC debut against was not in the perfect circumstances. He took this fight. That was a catch weight at 165. It was short notice. He was fat. He didn't train, and he got knocked out early against Elvis Brett. So I'm like, now he's facing someone in Kurt who's, he hit kind of hard and he can have a dogfight, and he's a good grappler of his own. But to me, the only thing here I'm not too confident about is who's going to shoot takedowns, because they're not really shooting takedowns a lot. And on the feet, it's kind of a hard fight to call. I think Kaynan hit hard. His striking is decent. It's not the best. Kurt's pretty hittable, but he's durable. And we have seen Kaynan getting KO'd 2 times. And now we're looking at the age. They have a pretty big age difference. Kaynan has a 3 reach advantage on him. He's a little bit taller and he's younger. But the X factor here, to me, the X factor, I'm like, I'm not betting Kurt. Guess where Kaynan is training from now? If you didn't agree.
Fighting nerds now.
Yeah. So,
God.
I do know because Fighting Nerds is my favorite camp. I did say this a couple months ago. I'm saying it now again, especially after Jane Silva performance against Ober. What performance, bro? Crazy.
Hell of a performance.
He's Fighting Nerds guy because, first of all, they watch a shit ton of tapes. They're trying to go against their opponent's mistakes, and they're studying the game a lot. And they train nonstop, and they're good on the ground, good on the feet, and they have a tricky style to fight against. And now you're looking into this guy. What he did, he was training at Extreme Couture, okay? UFC debut, got knocked out. And what he did after, he switched camp for January. He went into Fighting Nerds, and he trained nonstop against these guys. He's been training a lot. If you watch the clips, he's been training a lot. Even before he was booked to fight Kurt, he's nonstop training. So I do expect some improvements, and I do expect him to come in better shape and with a good game plan against Kurt. Look at him. He's going to wrestle. That's what you need to do. He's a BJJ black belt, and if you wrestle, he's going to be able to not get submitted on top. So I think he's smart. He's going to come out with a smart game plan. He's going to get on top. He's going to win minutes. And, man. So that's the X factor. He's a Fighting Nerds guy, and he's been training nonstop there since his last fight. And Kurt, like I said, he's old, kind of out of the game, probably not training as hard. And you have this guy who's trying to get his first UFC win here. So, I think he wins the fight. And I'm waiting at the moment because, like I said, Kurt's a very popular play. Everybody playing him. So I'm waiting. It looked like the line's going to close to a pick 'em or so. So I'm waiting on the right time. But I'm potentially looking to a bet. As of now, at the current price, it's a pass for me. You can get Kaynan at minus 130. I think he should be around minus 150, around these lines. So, yeah.
You're kind of scaring me with the whole Fight Nerds talk now, because now it's like a camp you can't.
I always scare you, Peg. I know that.
Keith, what do you got here? Anything different?
No, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I agree with most of what Drob said. Well, there's a fight that I don't have any interest in betting. So, there's a pass fight for me. I think that Kaynan probably gets it done. I might do some deeper tapes and see if I like him enough to get to this price tag since it's closing in so much right now. But there's a pass right now.
All right. Next fight, Steve Garcia versus Seung Choi. Steve Garcia, popular favorite this week. 32, 6 feet tall, with a 73-inch reach. Seung Choi, 31, 6 feet tall, 74.5-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen right now: Steve Garcia minus 145 to minus 150. Seung Choi anywhere from plus 125 to plus 110. Key, what do you think? Are you taking the shot on Steve Garcia to make a step forward and knock out Seung Choi, or do you think Seung Choi finds a decision here?
Yeah, no, I'm not taking Steve Garcia at minus 145. Choi's chin is too bad for me to even want to put any sort of money on him. I know Drive caught the opener on the under 1.5 like plus money. I think that was a great bet. Outside of that, Steve Garcia KO is way too. I mean, it's damn near plus
110. I think.
Yeah, it's garbage. So potentially, if that comes out with a massive discrepancy on a commercial book, that's a decent look. But outside of that, I have no interest in this fight.
I lean the same way. Like I said, like you pretty much took my same breakdown. I'm gonna probably just play the KO, but I'm gonna wait for better odds. And if it's something crazy, I'll play plus 130, plus 140 if we get it. But I'm definitely not playing plus 110. Job, how about you?
Yeah, it's plus 115 now, plus 115 for the KO. Some money came in probably on the sub or on the decision prop. But yeah, I mean, Garcia's the machine, you know. He has big power. He's QRB KO. He can get dropped. He can knock you
His
out.
chin sucks, though. That's the only issue.
His chin suck, but he has that dog in him. And Choi chin suck also, bro. They both got dropped a lot. And I mean, if you're getting dropped left and right and hurt by Josh Holobaugh, like if Steve Garcia couldn't clean on your chin, you might go down, bro. So I think Choi is the better technical fighter, let's say. If you go the distance, he's very live to win the fight. But I think somebody's getting knocked out. I think it's gonna come under 1.5. Unfortunately, you can't play that anymore. I got like plus 115. I think. Let me just check. I got a crazy price on it. Limits were not very good, so only a small bet. But I got plus 125 on the under 1.5. I don't know what they were thinking, but yeah, I think the under 1.5 should be around minus 150, minus 160. So now it's a little bit more juice than that. So you can't really play that. Fight end by KO is minus 400. You can't really play that either. But I think Garcia is the more powerful striker, and he has the momentum, and I think he has more that dog in him. So I think he find a knockout here, but there's no way you can lay the chalk. But yeah, you could lay the chalk, but it's just not something I'm interested in doing. I back him against Sha Young last year, right? He was plus 150 or something like that. And then I play Fight Doesn't Go against Costa, and also play Costa. Pretty sure I got fucked here. He killed him. But yeah, Choi, man, I mean, like he got KO'd 2 times. He got KO'd 2 times already. He looked decent his last time out. He got like KO'd by Trezano. That's a bad look. The Holobaugh fight was a war, but he got hurt multiple times. I think Garcia finds a KO here personally. And yeah, wait on commercial books. You're probably going to get plus 130 or maybe a little bit better on Garcia KO. I think at plus 130, plus 140, it's a decent bet. I like that better than his money line, to be honest.
Next fight. Brad Tavares versus Jung Park. Brad Tavares, 36, 6'1" with a 74-inch reach. Jung Park, the Iron Turtle, 33, 5'10", 73-inch reach. Right now, odds on these two gentlemen, you can get Tavares anywhere from plus 155 to plus 145. You get Jung Park, minus 180 to minus 170. So I'll go quick just because I played Tavares early, plus 145. I thought we were going to close that out at plus 120. I thought it was going to be a lot better just because, Tavares has very good takedown defense, and Jung Park, like if this fight goes on the feet, like Tavares should be the favorite, in my opinion, on the feet. I think if Tavares can stop the takedowns of Park, he wins this pretty handedly. If he can't, then I'm kind of screwed. So that's kind of my shot on it. That's why I took the dog shot here. Key, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not. It's hard for me to be confident in a Brad Tavares bet in 2024 period. I think that the RoboCop isn't as bad as of a loss as people think. I think that that's just an absolute matchup nightmare for him. So Jung Park does not have the same game at all. Most likely this plays out as a close fight. But again, if I'm backing a dog that I don't think has any sort of finishing upside, that just it doesn't at these type of odds doesn't feel as good for me. So this is a pass fight for me again. I know I'm passing a lot on this shit, but this is just an absolute
it's
shit.
Not a great card to bet, bro. I have one bet in it. It's Brad Tavares. I'm probably going to add a few more after the show, but this is
a shit card in my opinion.
I'm waiting for FanDuel. I'm really waiting for FanDuel to give me some crazy prop lines. Drop. What do you got for this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best card ever, but I think there's like 4 or 5 good spots you can find. I have 3, 4, 5. I have 6 bets, and it's probably a done card for me. I'm actually doing a lot of work for the original this week. There's a lot of them. So yeah, Brad Tavares is my free bet this week. I think he's one of the clear spots. Is he declining? Yes, he is. He's getting older. But what does he struggle with lately? He struggled against power puncher. And that's it, right? So is Park a power puncher? No, he's not. And then who fought the way better competition recently for the last few years?
He's been the lamb to slaughter in the UFC.
Not
They give
even
him
low,
all the
like,
harsh fights.
how would you line a fight with Duplessis against Park? Just being real here. Like Duplessis is probably what, minus 450, minus 500. Tavares gave him a war. Like, he lost, but he had some moments in that fight. I think he digressed since then because he took a lot of damage in it. But yeah, I don't think either guy is as much as finishing upside. And why the line is like that is because the market's giving finishing upside to Park and they're not giving any to Tavares. I personally don't really give finishing upside to anybody here. I think it's gonna go the distance, and I think Tavares a little bit better striker than Park, but it's close. Don't get me wrong. I think Park can show a little bit more volume, but Tavares is bigger, fought better competition. He's gonna compete with him on minute. And the RoboCup fight, he was doing good minute for minute. He had some moments in that fight, but RoboCup just big pressure, big power, and he was too strong, too big for him. He was able to mix in the grappling, which I don't think Park's going to have grappling success here. So if you're telling me it's going to go off 15, it's a striking match, who you think? Yeah, I think Brad Tavares take a decision closely, So, yeah, man, I don't really understand the line here. I think it should be close to a pick him. And, yeah, the market's saying Tavares is kind of washed. Park's going to finish him, but yeah, I just don't agree with it. I mean, they're saying it's going to go the distance, but they're also saying Park has some finishing upside, which is where the line is, where it is now. But I kind of disagree with it. I don't really give finishing upside on either side. Which, to your point, Keith, no one has finishing upside. Do you really want to lay minus 2xx on Park to find out with those judges? I don't. But
no. So
I'd rather close my eyes and watch women's MMA in the main event. That's why.
Good for you. Back-to-back women MMA event. Yo, it was so funny seeing the tweet after the whole Trump thing, being like, Trump's coming to Denver. Yeah, bro. Trump's going to get on a jet and fly over to watch Rose Namajunas versus Casey Cortez. He's going to be there. It's crazy. Next fight, women's main event, Amanda Lemos versus Verna Jandiroba. Amanda Lemos, 37-5'4" with a 65-inch reach. Verna Jandiroba, 36-5'3", the 64-inch reach. Line on these two women, you can get Lemos anywhere from plus 115 to plus 105. You can get Verna anywhere from minus 135 to minus 145. All right, Key, I'm going to let you go. No, Drop. You want to go first on this one, right? Or do you want to let Key go and then you go?
Oh, no, Key can go. It's his Super Bowl. He doesn't have a bid on it. Surprise.
Main event again, like and subscribe. This is a clear striker versus grappler. I think it's very wide on the feet for Lemos, and it's very wide on the ground for Verna. So it's kind of like pick your poison here. Key, am I wrong by saying that? What do you think here?
Yeah, I think that is a very very binary fight. The only way to describe Lemos' hands is like electric. I mean, the way that she snipes shots is pretty special. I had her money line against Durden. I ate minus 185, and I thought that was going to just look like a great price, and it ended up going down to like minus 115. So I got reverse CLV'd for one of the very few times that happens. But Lemos looked dominant until she decided to just willingly grapple. And I think that could be a downfall here. But Jandiroba in a 5-rounder, anybody thinking that she's just going to look dominant for 5 straight rounds unless her opponent is a child, I don't see how that's going to happen. So Jandiroba needs to find a finish within the first 3 rounds, in my opinion. And one thing you can't say, Lemos may have been dominating that Weili performance, but she didn't stop fighting. I mean, she was going for ninja chokes, Darce chokes. I mean, she was trying to find anything she could. And in a 5-rounder, Verna doesn't move her head. There isn't any real process on the feet other than how do I get this to the ground? Everything is just a means to end to how do I get this to the ground? So due to the fact that she has no process, and I don't think that she is has elite durability, I think the Lemos is going to snipe her and find her eventually. Could things get ugly? Could Verna end up looking like a wide favorite? Yes. I think that both girls have upside to look like a wide favorite. But over 5 rounds, people talking like Jandarova is just going to ride her for 5 rounds. I really, really don't see that happening because every round is starting on the feet, and she has to go through hell. So I think the Limo's inevitably over 25 minutes unless she gets subbed. I think that she finds her and puts her away. But I can say that it is hard to put somebody away whenever you don't want to go into their guard. So there's potential that Lemos isn't able to find the finish just unless she knocks her out completely cold, which is possible. Lemos is one of the few girls in WMMA that can knock somebody out cold with her hands. And so this is an interesting, very interesting fight. I haven't gotten around to a bet yet here. But we'll see what Limo's KO prop looks like. I think that she's live over every
plus
round.
200. So both girls relatively way to finish, which I think would be Verna by sub or Lemos by KO. Both are plus 200 for both girls. So they're making you pick your poison here. I think commercial books will probably get a little better KO. So probably lean that way with Lemos, especially if you want to play Lemos like 3, 4, 5. Could look good too. Could feed families, but I don't know. Close us out here, and then we'll do the BTL parlay. Let's try and finish this in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't have a strong read on it. I feel like he said, I think if anyone's able to, expose their opponent's weakness, they can look like a big favorite. If Lemos keep the fight standing on the feet, she will cook on the feet, bro. Like her power is nasty, and Verna block punches with her head. And I think Lemos could knock her out. But Verna grappling is super legit. Like I remember backing her against Rodriguez at like plus 150, plus 160, and I had like massive Silva on it, and she washed Rodriguez on the ground. And Rodriguez's submission defense is very, very, very good. Like she's very hard to submit on the ground. Lemos grappling sometimes you can panic grapple, against Andrade, for example. And a grappler like Verna, if you do any mistakes, she can capitalize on it. She could submit you. She has very good top control. To your point, Kia, I'm not saying she's gonna wrestle fuck her for 25. I don't think it's likely, but I think if she get her down, she could submit her pretty quickly. Like the grappling difference here is as wide as the striking difference to me. Like there's a clear massive grappling advantage and there's a clear massive striking advantage. So whoever can do what they're the best at, they're going to win. Verna could potentially just ride on the ground for a round or finish her, or she could get knocked out. The under 2.5 was plus 170 at some point. It was interesting. It's plus 130 now. Striker versus grappler matchup. You have finishing upside on both sides. I think it's not the worst look, but I think Verna win, to be honest. She's younger. Lemos just lost her title fight, but she's coming back after a win. But bro, again, like she did good against Durden. She was cooking her, but then she made mistakes. She followed her to the ground, and she ended up in a close fight and almost like shit the bed in this fight. Let's not forget that. She had Durden out, and she found a way to make the fight close, but yeah, I think Verna grappling is better than Durden, like per grappling control. Durden's a good finisher with the grappling, but I think the grappling has been overrated in the UFC, to be honest. So, yeah, I think Verna will, but not too confident about it.
All right, that's the show. I believe, are we on a 2? We're going to do the BTL parlay now. Are we on a 2 or 3 win BTL parlay spree? I think we are, right? I think we've had 2 pushes. But I think
we did cash a massive one 2 weeks ago, I think, and we won the last one
last week. Yeah, so we're on a 2-win BTL spree. So you're gonna want to tail this one. I'll go first. Give me. I'm gonna take Jung Lee at minus 185. Give me that. Key, what do you want?
The guy did a full 360. You guys saw that, right?
I always got a trick up my sleeve.
Give me Thomas Peterson plus 120.
Whoa.
Holy shit. I was not expecting that. Okay.
No, me either. All right. So drop what you got. You can go heavier now since you're scared. And Key gave us plus odds.
We all know who's the scary one here.
All right, what do you got for us?
What? I can't parlay what I'm trying to do. It's not working for some reason.
You'll probably be able to parlay it later in the week because it's Monday.
Let me just check again. So this working. Oh, still. All right, then it's gonna be the over 2.5. It's gonna be the over 2.5 for Park and Tavares at -215. I was trying to parlay Bruno Silva, but it doesn't let me parlay him for some reason with these other two. But yeah, anyway, so Jung Lee -185, Thomas Peterson +120, and the over 2.5 for Park and Tavares at -215. It gave you a parlay of +397. Let's cash it.
Okay, guys. So that's +397. It's Jung Lee. It's Thomas Peterson, and it's the over of Tavares Park, and that gives you +397. All right, guys. That's the show. We finished it in just an hour and 15 minutes. Thanks again. We appreciate it. Like, sub. Let's get this podcast popping. Everything's in my Telegram. It's always free. Always will be. What do you guys got going for your dub clubs?
Yeah, so for mine this week, it's going to be a little bit different because my UFC card's already done for the most part. So I have 6 bets, but I have a lot of spots that I'm thinking that I'm liking for the original. And I'm not working this week, so I have more time to do tapes. So I'm going to have bets for KSW, bet for Cage Warrior, bet for Octagon, and obviously bet for UFC. So it's a good week to sign up. You can have bets with me on multiple organizations. And the only thing I'm waiting for now is I still have some tapes to do for the original, but also I'm waiting for the limits because the limits are dog shit at the moment. So I can't play more to win $100. So I'm waiting on that. Me and Key have a good spot. We're going to bet together for KSW. You guys probably want to be on that with us. So it's a good week to sign up to the Dub Club. So yeah, man, you don't know the bet yet, but maybe we're going to tell you.
All right, Key, what do you got?
Yeah, key 3 picks, $20 a month for Dub Club and Discord. I'm up over 57 units this year. Prize picks, underdog fantasy, book bets, DFS cores, live bets. We've cashed our last 3 out of 4 live bets in Discord, all plus money shit. That's how I'll probably attack the UFC card. Like Drav mentioned, KSW, Octagon, Cage Warriors this week. It's a great time for low levels women MMA, and you know who's the king of that. So come sign up, link in the bio, 50% off, and let's cash.
All right, boys. Peace.